Well, welcome to another Memphis drawing. Today we're continuing on our adventure through the 200 drawing prompt book. We're up to drawing prompt 182. Let's see what that is. It is something funny. And so today we're going to be doing a portrait of Rodney Dangerfield. One of those guys you start laughing before he says anything. If you want to see how we did it, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. This is the picture we're trying to capture. This is from his Rodney Dangerfield's 1980 comedy album, No Respect. He's about 59 years old here. But as you can see, I'm having trouble getting his likeness. I mean, the bug eyes, you got he's got those bulging eyes. Those are hard to capture. I don't like this hairstyle in our picture. I'm gonna change it. Our picture that we're getting inspired by here was shot in about 1980 for a comedy album, and later in his career he started combing his hair straight back and sometimes to the side, but I think he probably, especially in the later years, he wore a hairpiece, and sometimes the hairpiece is pretty obvious, because he wanted to keep a consistent look. Rodney Dangerfield is one of those truly famous people, I think. He's been dead for almost 20 years. And I bet everybody watching this still remembers him. I think my problem here is I got on my likeness, see, he looks kind of sad here. He looks startled and worried. But on my likeness, he's got his eyes wide open here, but this mouth needs to be turned down a little bit so that it's projecting a frown. So for about 10 years or so, he sold aluminum siding after he quit show business. And one of his jokes is that he quit he quit show business, and nobody but him knew it. Rodney started out as a comedy writer when he was 15 years old, writing jokes for other comics. And what happened was, after he decided to go into the aluminum siding business, he spent years writing jokes for himself, that in case he ever had a comeback, he'd have all these jokes. So when he finally did make a comeback and started doing stand-up, he had all this material. I mean, just many jokes. And Johnny accepted the apology, but he was a practical guy too, and he was a real good judge of comedy talent. Carson wasn't just a stand-up comedian. I mean, he gave the monologue, on the Tonight Show every night, but I don't think he would call himself a stand-up comedian. Being a stand-up comedian is a special talent that probably the hardest thing you can do in show business. So this movie Caddyshack, it was started out to be a movie about the caddies and all the hijinks they got into. But they decided to punch it up a little bit by hiring some comedians, and they hired Ted Knight, who played Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. The pompous anchorman. And Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and slowly but surely, the kids who were supposed to be the star of the show were slowly pushed to the sidelines, and the thing turned into an ensemble comedy with all these big name comedy guys. One of the anecdotes from the movie was the fact that a director, I can't remember who it was. Oh, the director was the the guy who played Egon or whoever it was in Ghostbusters. What was his name? It'll come to me. But anyway, they, you watch. You watch Rodney work, and you almost think that it's all ad-libbed. But come to find out, Rodney needed a script. He didn't ad-lib. His even on all his appearances on the Johnny Carson show, when he sat on the couch, it was really just a continuation of his stand-up act, and Johnny was in on it, and he played the straight man for Rodney while Rodney was talking, but Rodney had to have what he was going to say all figured out before he said it. He couldn't just wing it like Bill Murray. I guess Bill Murray and some of the Saturday night people, they actually trained trained to improvise. Instead of a black suit, I think we're going to go with something wild like this. In Caddyshack, he wore some pretty wild clothes, so we're going to make we're going to liven his jacket up and give it some gaudiness. So about everything Rodney did was scripted. In some ways, he's like Lucille Ball. I saw her on a talk show one time. She was talking about it, that she'd go places and people would expect her to be funny, and she said, I'm not all that funny. And her kids kind of backed that up too. That was an actress. Now she didn't write her own jokes like Rodney did, but Rodney was funny when he was when he was doing his Rodney Dangerfield act. But it was jokes that he had written or somebody else had written. He wrote most of his own jokes. His next movie after Caddyshack was a movie called Back to School. And that movie could have been bad, but it wasn't. It was a big hit, all because of him. He helped write, he got writing credit for the movie. I mean, part of the credit. He didn't write it all. I think sometimes human nature kicks in and we think that everybody likes the same things we do. In the movie Caddyshack, Rodney comes storming when he makes his grand entrance at the Bushwood Country clubhouse. He goes storming in there and buying everything up. I'll take 2 of those, 5 of those, bags, balls, the whole thing. So he's doing his whole Rodney Dangerfield act. And he notices a hat on the rack over there. It's kind of a striped hat, golf hat. And he walks over and picks it up and he says, "Boy, I bet when you buy a hat like this, you get a free cup of soup." And he looks over behind him, and Ted Knight, Dr. Schmales, or Judge Schmales, is there. And he has that hat on. And Rodney says, "Looks good on you, though." Well, anyway, that whole explanation was, I was out in my backyard, and my neighbor came walking out, and he had a hat on I thought was funny looking. And I said to him, I said, "Boy, I said, did you get a cup of soup with that hat when you bought it?" Well, he just looked at me like I was an idiot. He didn't know what I was talking about. And I realized that he didn't laugh, he didn't smile, he showed no recognition. I said, "That's from a movie called Caddyshack. You've never seen it?" And he goes, "Nope." It's getting late. It's almost, it's 7:35. When you do these videos, you gotta do the drawing, which is the easy part. Then you got to download it out of your camera. Then you got to into your computer. Then you got to download it from the computer to the editing software. And I use editing software. I've been using it forever. It's Movie Maker, Microsoft Movie Maker. It's they don't support it anymore. They want you to use the editing software that's in Windows 10. Now I got to get the red tie in there. He was for his stand-up, this is the outfit he wore. Now for his movies, he wore more gaudy stuff, but for his stand-up, he wore just kind of a plain black suit with the collar unbuttoned, and he was always tugging on it. Now I could add some more detail to the jacket, but I don't want it to overpower. I want it to be in the background a little bit. Put this hand in last because it's over the jacket and the tie and the shirt. So I want to push those things farther in the background. Well, we crossed another celebrity off our list. Today we drew a little portrait of Rodney Dangerfield for drawing prompt 182. Let's take a look at our drawing. Pretty good likeness. He died about 20 years ago, but he's still popular today. A very funny guy. Okay, let's check out our prompt for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have your closet. Hope to see you then.